Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will start again a lecture on cost estimations. So already we have discussed in previous lectures the concepts regarding cost estimations. We have seen the various methods related with the cost estimations. We have seen the methods related with the approximate estimate also. We have seen the methods related with the preliminary estimate also. And today we will have some more concepts regarding the valuations. Again, we have already seen the problems related with the rate analysis also. So again, related with rate analysis, related with the rate analysis, we have already solved the problems related with the rate analysis. How the quantity to be calculated regarding RCC works, regarding earthwork and excavations, how to find out the quantity regarding PCC or RCC works. So we have seen rate analysis. We have also calculated the amount required for various items of works. So in again related with the cost estimations, the most important concept is related with the valuations. Okay, so valuation is again an important concept related with the rate analysis or cost estimations. So in today in today's lectures we will have discussions on valuations. Okay, so valuations is also required in nowadays. Valuation plays an important role in related with the in order to find out the cost of any structures. Okay, in order to find out the cost of any structures, valuation is also plays an important role. Okay, so valuations. The first we will have what actually valuation is. The valuation is the technique of estimating and determining the fair price or value of a property. So as the valuation word itself indicates, to find out the value or fair price or fair value of a property, depending upon its locality or depending upon the various conditions, depending upon the availabilities or depending upon the amenities available. So we have to find out the or we have to calculate the value of a property. Okay. The fair price or a value of the property is nothing but the valuations. So valuation is the technique of estimating and determining the fair price or value of a property, such as a building, or it may be a shed, or it may be a building, or it may be any structures or a factory or other engineering structures of various types or land. Okay? We can find out the valuation of a land also. We can find out the value of industrial buildings or industrial sheds also, or construction RCC structures also. So we have to find out the value of any building. So valuation plays an important role. So on which parameters we will find out the valuations, or what are the basic needs in order to calculate the valuation of any structures, or what are the factors affecting the valuations, we will see. Okay, the present value of a property may be decided by its selling price or the rent it may fetch. Okay, so it will be dependent on the rent fixations, or it will be dependent on the selling price. Okay, so what actually the price it has been kept for selling, depending upon, as I've already said, depending upon the amenities which are available, depending upon the various uh, availabilities of the various things related with the valuations. To increase the valuations, what are the amenities it has been available nearby. So depending upon that availability of the various amenities, the valuation of a property can be increased or it can be calculated. So evaluation depends upon, first most important is nothing but the type of the building, whether it is structures, whether it is a load bearing structures or frame structures, or what is the type of building, whether it is a factory site or whether it is a residential building or a commercial building. So depending upon the type of building, the valuation it can be calculated. Okay, so valuation it will be calculated depending upon the type of the building. Also, it will be dependent on the locations where it has been located, whether the building it has been located nearby or it is far away from the city, or it is in the rural area or urban area. So depending upon the locations, the valuation of the structures can be dependent. Okay, so whether it is available, whether it is located within the premises or within the limit or within the city limit, or it has been available outside the city limit, or whether it is available in the rural areas or urban area. Okay? Depending upon its valuation will be fixed. Okay, so location also plays an important role. Again, building structures and durability. What is the life of the building? Whether the construction it has been, whether it is old constructions with massive walls, or with old, it has been made with whether it is a wooden structures or RCC structures, whether it is a load bearing structures. So depending upon the building structures and durability is also important concept. How much lifespan it has been taken care, or how much lifespan it has been spent regarding after constructions. Okay, whether the life of the building it has 10 years or 5 years, or how much life of building it has been covered. Okay, how much years it has been used for constructions after, how much days, or how much what is the life of the building, lifespan of the building, it is also plays an important role regarding the valuation of the structures. Okay, the building structures and durability. Again, the quality of materials used in the construction, as I've already said, whether it is a frame structures or load bearing structures, or it has been made with a wooden, whether it is a wooden structures in olden days, the construction was made with the timber wood also. So whether depending upon the materials used for the constructions, okay, which quality of materials it has been used for the construction of work, depending upon the quality of materials used in the constructions, the valuation of the property will be decided. Okay, again, the size of the building, what will be the size of the building, whether it is what is the permissible size of the building, and what are the different whether the availabilities of the different rooms or different sizes of the rooms, they are feasible or not. So depending upon the size of the buildings, valuation plays an important role. Okay, so valuation, these are the points which on which valuations will be dependent. Okay, again, regarding with the valuations, what are the different concepts regarding with the valuation? Again, important is nothing but the cost. Okay, the original cost of construction or purchase is nothing but the cost relates with the original, okay, original amount required for constructions, or original amount required for the purchase of any commodity. Okay, so the original cost is nothing but the original price, or the original amount is considered here as the cost. Okay, so here cost indicates the original amount which has been incurred in the constructions, which has been required in the constructions. So the original amount it has been considered, or it has been stated as cost. It has been called as cost. Okay? The original cost of construction or purchase. Again, value of the property. Now, what is value? As valuation, in valuation word also value. What this word states? The present value that may be higher or lower than the cost. Okay? The valuation of building is determined on working out its cost of constructions at a present day rate and allowing a suitable depreciation. So what is the cost at the present day? Okay, the cost of a construction at a present day rate. What is the cost at the present? Depending upon that, value of the property will be decided. Okay, so depending upon the current rates, depending upon the cost of construction at present day rate, the cost will be the value of the property will be decided. Okay, again, it is also dependent on the depreciations. So depreciation we will see in detail in next few slides. What is depreciation? Depreciation is actually, in short, depreciation is nothing but the decrease in the amount of the or decrease in the cost of any structures due to wear and tear. Okay, after the lifespan of the construction of building, it has been for suppose 10 years it has been the construction, it has been taken 10 years, it is older than the construction work, it has been older than 10 years or 20 years. That means the depreciation will be there. There will be wear and tear of the structures. There may be there may be removal of coloring may be removed, or plastering may be removed. So there will be wear and tear of the structures. The depreciation cost will also be placed. Depreciation will also plays an important role. Okay? Again, why we have to do the valuations? What is the purpose of valuations? So valuation, it is most important for buying or selling of properties, when it is required to buy a property or when it is required to sell a property. Okay? Valuation, it has been used for buying or selling of property, because depending upon the valuations we can sell the property or we can purchase the property. Depending upon the valuations, as in previous slide we have seen, it is dependent on the locations or the type of structures, the quality of materials used. So depending upon that, we are finding out the valuations, and this valuation, it has been used for buying or selling. Okay? So buying or selling of property, this valuation plays an important role. Again, next important purpose for valuation is nothing but taxation. Okay? So for taxation also, in order to fix the tax, this valuation is also important in order to fix the tax with the current rates. So this valuation is also important for fixing of taxations. Okay, so tax fixation to assess the tax of a property, or taxes may be municipal taxes, it may be wealth taxes, it may be property taxes, etc. And all the taxes are fixed on the valuation of the property. Okay, all the taxes related with the municipal taxes or wealth taxes or property taxes, It can be calculated with the help of the valuations. So it will be decided with the help of the valuation. The different taxes will be decided with the help of the valuations. Again, rent fixations. So for fixing of rent, okay, so for fixing up the rent, this valuation again plays an important role. So for fixing of rent, in order to determine the rent of a property, so this valuations is again important for. In order to determine the rent of a property, rent is usually fixed on certain percentage of the amount of valuation, which is about 6 to 10%. So, how much cost will be fixed for rent fixations? So, out of the total amount, we will consider about 6 to 10%. Okay, so about 6 to 10% of the total amount we will consider as the valuation for the rent fixations. So, total amount from out of the total amount we will fix as 6 to 10% as the rent fixations. Again, what is next purpose for valuations? The next purpose is nothing but the security of loans and mortgage. Okay? So when we have to hire, or we have to keep the we have to purchase against we have to purchase, or we have to hire, we have to have a loan from the government firms or private firms, or we have to take a loan from the private firms or government firms, or we have to we have to keep our property against, and by keeping that property we can take the money from the external body or external, that is the government firm of private firms. So at that time, this for the mortgage, at that time this valuation plays an important role. Okay, so security of loans and mortgage, this valuation plays an important role. Again, compulsory acquisitions, in case of suppose compulsory acquisition is nothing but, suppose there is an irrigation land is there, and we have to acquire that irrigation land for the water supply pipelines, or we have to use that irrigation land for the roads, for the construction of roads, or for the electricity poles also. At that time, for compulsory acquisitions, there is no as such option to avoid these acquisitions. So we have to compulsory acquire the land. At that time, we have to pay some amount to the owner. We have to pay some amount to the person who is having that land, irrigation land. So there is again, for compulsory acquisition, this valuation plays an important role. Okay? So whenever a property is acquired by law, okay, the best example is if we are acquiring a land, that is the irrigation land. If we are acquiring for roads, or for the construction of roads, or for the construction for laying down of drainage lines or pipelines or water supply pipelines, so at that times we have to compulsorily acquire the lands. So what are the according to the rules we can acquire, but we have to pay some amount. Okay? So that amount, how much amount to be paid to the owner for acquiring the land, so that will be calculated with the valuations. Okay? So whenever a property is acquired by law, compensation is paid to the owner. A valuation of the property is required in order to determine the amount of compensations. Yes. Again, insurance betterment charges and speculations. Again, for insurance purpose also, again for betterment charges also, this valuation plays an important role. Okay? With the help of the valuations, we can find out the how much amount will be, how much amount will be required for insurance. So, for a fixation of insurance for betterment charges, this valuation again plays an important role. Next, again, related with the valuations, important term is related with the valuation is nothing but the gross income. So, what is gross income? Gross income is nothing but the total income, and including of all receipts from various sources. Okay, so the total income with all receipts. If we are purchasing any item or any material related with the actual construction work, so with all receipts, what is the total amount? Okay, from all resources, what is the total amount or total income? That income is considered as the gross income. Okay. So it is the total income and includes all receipts from various sources. The outgoing and the operational and collection charges are not deducted. Okay. The outgoings are not deducted, and operational charges. There may be some operational charges will be there. There may be collection charges will be there. Some persons will be allotted for collections, or some operations will be there. Some operations of various machineries operations will be there. So all these outgoings will not be deducted in case of the gross income. That means in gross income, all these things will be included. Okay? All outgoings will be included, and all receipts will be included in case of the gross income. Next is important is nothing but the net income or net returns. What is net income and net returns? As it has been net income or net returns. So it is the savings or the amount left after deducting all outgoings. After subtracting all outgoings, what is the remaining amount which has been with us? That remaining amount or remaining income after all outgoings is nothing but the net income. Okay, so net income or the net income or net returns is one and the same. So after all deducting the outgoings, what is the amount it has been kept with us? That amount after deducting all outgoings, that amount is called as the net income. So it is the savings of the amount left after deducting all outgoings or operational and collection expenses from the gross income or the total receipt. Okay? So it is nothing but the net income. So net income can be calculated as net income is equals to that is equals to gross income minus outgoings. Okay? So after deducting from outgoings, gross income after deducting outgoings from the gross income, we can calculate the net income. So all these concepts will be used in further slides in order to calculate the valuations of a property. So in next slides we will find out actually the how to find out the valuations. So we will just in short, I'm discussing about the different concepts regarding the valuations. In next slides, we will solve the problems related with the valuations. How to find out the gross income or net income, or what is the outgoings or which outgoings to be considered while calculating the valuation of a property or rent fixations. So these terms will be used. So therefore, we are in short discussing about all these terms. Next, what is outgoings? So outgoings are the expenses that are required to be incurred in order to maintain the revenue of the buildings, in order to maintain the revenue, in order to maintain the life or durability of the building, in order to have the building in running conditions. What are the different expenses which has been taken care? Okay, so these it has been included in a separate head as the outgoings. Okay, so outgoings are the expenses that are required to be incurred in order to maintain the revenue of the building, in order to generate the revenue from the building, in order to have the building in working conditions, in order to have the building or the factory in working conditions. So, what are the different expenses required? All these expenses it has been covered in the outgoings. So here in outgoings, again these are the heads which has been covered in the outgoings. Number one head, important head covered in the outgoings is nothing but the taxes. Okay, so these includes taxes paid by the owner of the property, which has been annually. Okay, some taxes it is to be paid annually. So this municipal taxes or property taxes or wealth taxes, these are the taxes it has been paid. This is head covered in the outgoings. The taxes, various types of taxes will be covered in the outgoings. So these taxes are fixed on the basis of annual rent value of the property after deducting for annual repairs. Okay. So how these taxes will be fixed? So these taxes will be fixed depending upon the annual rental values. Okay. So annual rental value. Depending upon the annual rent of the properties, we can calculate or we can fix these taxes. Okay, annual rental value of the property after deductions for annual repairs. Then what are the repairs? Repairs is nothing but need to be carried out every years in order to maintain a property in good conditions. So some repair works it is to be carried out. Okay? So some repairs to be carried out in order to generate the revenue from the property, in order to have a working in properly working conditions. We have to repair. There should be a repair works. So repair needs to be carried out every years in order to maintain a property in good conditions. The amount spent depends on the age, material, nature of the construction, use of buildings, etc. The amount which has been used for repair works, it will be dependent on age of the building, how much age it has been covered in the building, 10 years or 20 years or 50 years. What is the lifespan of the building or the age of the building, and what are the materials which has been used in the at the time of the construction of the building? What is the nature of construction, whether it is load-bearing structures or framed structures? So nature of construction also, and use of building, whether it is what is the use of the building, whether it is used by the public or it is a residential building or a public building or various it has been frequently used by the public or not. The use of the building, so depending upon the use of the building, repair works to be decided, repair amount to be decided, age and materials and nature of the construction. So how much we will fix? So about 10 to 15% of the gross income or gross rent or the rent of 1 to 1.5 month is allowed for repairs. Okay. So in percentage basis, the total from the total amount, that is from the gross amount, we can keep separate as 10 to 15% as the repair works. Okay? So how much in percentage we can keep this amount as 10 to 15% from the gross income. Whereas in case of collection from the rents, we can have 1 to 1.5 month is allowed for repairs. If suppose amount is it has been fixed for rent, so out of the 12 months, out of this 1.5 1 to 1.5 month amount of that rent we can use for the repair works. Okay, we can keep aside for the repair works. For annual repairs, 1 to 1.5% of the total cost of the construction may also be taken. So, from the annual repairs works, 1.1 to 1.5% from the total cost of constructions. Okay, here we have taken 10 to 15% as the here we have taken as 10 to 15% from the gross income, whereas here in this case we are taking 1 to 1.5% from the cost of construction. Okay, so these two heads are different. Okay, it is this head is nothing but the gross income, and this head is nothing but the total cost of constructions. So by considering total cost of constructions, we can have 1 to 1.5%, and from gross income we can have 10 to 15%. Okay, or 1 to 1.5 months rent we can keep aside for the repair works. It is also a logical way in which we can keep aside the amount for that is 1 to 1.5 months amount for the repair works. Okay. Again, management and collection charges. This is also an outgoing related with the valuations. So, management and collection charges. These includes the expenses on rent collections. There will be guards required, lift man required, pump attendant required, sweepers required, guards required. So all these will be managed, and these will be covered in the valuations. Okay. So this percentage it is to be also taken care in case of valuations. Okay. So management and collection charges. So how much percentage it is to be kept aside from the gross income? So here it has been given as 5 to 10%. Okay, so 5 to 10% we are keeping aside for the management and collection charges. We are keeping aside 5 to 10% for the management and collection charges. Okay? For small buildings, none of these might be required, and hence there shall be no outgoings in these accounts. Okay, management and collection charges. If a small structure is there, small residential building is there, so at that time this 5 to 10% will not be considered. This 5 to 10% will be considered for the various, that is the high rise buildings also, or residential in case of high rise complex or buildings. In that case, heavy structures, this 5 to 10% it can be kept aside, because for a small residential building this 5 to 10% cannot be considered, or will not be considered. Again, what is next outgoings in this case is nothing but the annual sinking fund. Sinking fund also we will see in next slides what is actually sinking fund. So next is nothing but annual sinking fund. A certain amount of the gross rent is set aside annually as sinking fund to accumulate the cost of construction when the life of the building is over. So when the life of the building is completed, so at every years we are keeping some amount. We are keeping some amount from the rent. Okay? We are keeping some amount from the rent aside, so that after completion of the life of the building, that amount can be used for reconstructions. Okay? Or that amount can be used for maintenance work, or that amount can be reused for the repair works. Okay? When the life of the structures it has been completed, so after life of structures it has been completed, that amount will be accumulated, and that huge amount will be used for reconstructions, because the life of structures will be completed. So we can demolish the structures, and the amount which we have kept aside every years, that amount will be used for reconstruction of that building. Okay, so that amount is it has been called technically as the sinking fund. This amount it has been kept aside, which will accumulate after the life of building will be completed and will be used for the reconstruction. This amount is called as the sinking fund. Yeah. So it accumulates sufficient amount to meet the cost of the constructions or maintenance or a replacement of structures after years. So I've already said that we can reconstruct the buildings, or we can have the maintenance in the building, or we can have some renovations in the building, because suppose the life of building we are calculating as 50 years. So after 50 years the structures will be old pattern structures will be there, old structures will be there. After 50 years there will be more changes in the structures. The lifestyle of the structures will be, the lifestyle of the every building will be changed. So after 50 years, we should have some amount so that we can renovate the structures, we can repair the structures, we can have the maintenance in the structures. So such amount which has been kept aside is nothing but the annual sinking fund. Next important is outgoings is nothing but the loss of rent. The property may not be kept fully occupied all through the years. A suitable amount is deducted from the gross rent under outgoings. Okay, there may be that is at every month there. It is not assumed that every month there will be some amount which has been collected. Okay, there may be loss of rent also in some month there will be no collection in the rents. So in this situations we should keep some amount we should kept some amount at a side in terms of loss of rent. Okay. Next is important is miscellaneous. These includes electric charges for running lifts, pumps, lighting, common spaces, and other similar charges that are borne by the owner of the buildings. Okay. There may be some miscellaneous charges. It has to be taken care in case of electrifications, electrical charges for running lifts, for running pumps, for lighting common spaces and other similar charges that will be included in the miscellaneous. Okay, some amount will be used for lighting purpose. There may be some parking lights will be used. Some parking lights will be taken care, or some lift arrangements, running lifts will be taken care, or pump water supply lines, pumps. The amount required for electricity bills regarding with the pumps will be taken care. So all these miscellaneous charges will also be included in the outgoings. Next important is again the municipal taxes. Municipal taxes is again a major outgoing in case of valuations. It is a major outgoings in case of valuation municipal taxes. The municipality needs money in order to undertake and maintain public utility facilities. The same is collected by the imposed taxes on the properties. Okay, so there is some tax which has been taken care by the municipal which has been taken care by the municipal taxes in case of there is collection collected by the municipal authorities. Some common utilities it has been utilized by the public utilities, common public utilities, it will be utilized. So we have to pay the taxes in the form of municipal taxes. We have to pay the taxes to the government firms, government bodies. The utility works includes roads, drainage, water supplies, etc., and their construction and maintenance. Okay. For construction of roads, for construction of drainage lines, for construction of water supply lines, so that amount will be required. So in the form of taxes we have to pay so that these amenities or these facilities will be constructed by the government firms. Okay. So for the construction of roads or drainage or water supplies and other things, these taxes will be used. The taxes are assessed on some percentage basis on the net income from the property and varies from 10 to 25% of the net income. So this will be dependent on the assessed taxes will be dependent on the net income. What is the total income which has been generated from the particular utility or particular amenity. So what is the total amount or total net income generated from the community? Okay. So depending upon the net income generated from the community, taxes will be fixed. So what is the percentage of tax will be fixed? So it will be fixed as 10 to 25% of the net income. So it will be fixed as 10 to 25% from the net income. Okay. Usually taxes are lesser for small houses and vice versa. Okay. So usually small houses there will be a little bit less tax as compared to the different types of structures. There is different types of heavy structures. The taxes will be more as compared to the small buildings or small that is the residential buildings. Again, what is value? We have already discussed the value, the definition of value. What are the different types of values considered in the valuations? So number one is the market value. Next is the scrap value, salvage value, retail value, and book value. Uh, Retail value and the book value. Okay, the market value, scrap value, and salvage value. This all these values are important. So we will discuss in short what are the different types of values which has been taken care. So what number one is nothing but the market value. So market value of a property is the amount which can be obtained at a certain particular time from the open market if the property is put for sale. Okay, what is the amount which has been when this property it has been kept in an open market, what will be the price of that property, what is the cost of that property, that cost of that property in the open market is considered as the market value. Okay, when it is put for sale. The market value will differs from time to time according to the demand and supply. Depending upon the demand and supply rates, the cost of the construction or the cost of the commodity or the cost of the structures will be lesser or more, depending upon the demand and supply rates. Okay? So depending upon the demand and supply rates, the cost of the market value of the property will be changed. Okay? In some cases, it will be increased, or in some cases, depending upon the demand and supply rates, it will be decrease or increase depending upon its supply rates. Okay? Demand and supply rates. The market value also changes from time to time for various miscellaneous reasons, such as changes in industries, changes in fashions, means of transportations, cost of materials and labors. So this market value will be dependent on various aspects, or it will be changed. It will be changed depending upon the industry changes in industries, or it will be dependent on the changes in fashions. Suppose the construction it is in old fashion is there, the valuation of the building will be less. Market value of the building will be less. Okay? So depending upon the fashions, depending upon the transportations, means of transportation, whether that property it has been connected to the roads or railway lines, or whether it is connected, whether it is located in a nearby city, or whether it is located outside. So means of transport is there. Cost of materials required, again labors required, depending upon the labors also. Okay? Again, important term related with the value is nothing but the scrap value. So scrap value may be defined as the value of the material after dismantle. Okay? When the dismantle material is when the building it has been dismantled after the life of the building, when the durabilities of the building it has been completed, when the life of the building it has been completed, at that time we will demolish the structures. So after demolitions, there may be that demolished materials in the form of timber, or in the form of the steel, or in the form of the various materials which has been after demolitions, that materials can be reused for the constructions. So what is that value? That value after the dismantling of that material, that value it is called as the scrap value. Okay? So after the completion of the utility period, the dismantled materials such as steel, timber, bricks, and furniture will fetch a certain amount, which is called as the scrap value of the buildings. Okay? So there may be old timber beams may be there, old steel structures may be there, bricks and furnitures, various wooden furnitures may be there. So all these will be after selling this, we can have an amount. So that amount or that value will be considered as a scrap value. In case of machines, the scrap value is the value of the metal or the value of the dismantled parts. Machines also there may be a scrap value. That is the parts. That is the scrap value is the value of the metal or the value of the dismantled parts. Again, how much percentage of the total value or the total cost it has been taken care for this? The total cost of construction, about 10% it has been taken for the scrap value. That means from the total amount, 10% we can consider as the scrap value. Okay? Total cost of the constructions, that means 90% we can consider as the construction cost. Total cost out of the total cost of the construction, 10% we will consider as the scrap value. Okay? Out of the total cost of the constructions. Again, the cost of dismantling and the removal of the rubbish material is deducted from the total receipt from the sale of the usable materials to get the actual scrap value. So we can reuse the materials for any other structures also. That dismantled material can be used for any other sites, for any other constructions also, and the amount we can use for the construction of work. Again, salvage value is also related with this before dismantle. The salvage value is the value before dismantle. Scrap value is after dismantle of the materials, but the salvage value is before dismantle of the materials. Okay? So the value of the building at the end of utility period without being dismantled. Without being dismantled, if suppose there is a residential building, after the life of the building, that residential building or that heavy structures or any structure can be used for the godown purpose, or it can be used for the storage of food grains, or can be used for the storage of various materials also. So instead of leaving residential buildings, we can use that structure for some other use, say some other purpose. So before dismantling, or it is not been dismantled, at that time the cost of the structures, the value of the structures we will consider as a salvage value. Value of building at the end of utility period without being dismantled is called as the salvage value. Again, there may be a construction building salvage value also may be considered, or there may be various equipments also, machines also. Machine after the completion of its usual span of life may be sold or purchased by someone for other use. For other purpose, it can be used. Or that machine or that construction work can the constructed building can be used for some other purpose. So that before that building it has been not dismantled, such value of the property is nothing but the salvage value. So it does not include the cost of removal or sale, etc. Salvage value of a property or an asset may be positive, zero, or negative. In some cases, there may be positive value also. In some cases, it may be negative value also, or in some cases, there will not be any value related with the salvage, related with the structures. Again, there is an example for the salvage value. The salvage value of RCC structures is negative because dismantling and removal will be costly. Salvage value of machine is positive because its parts may be used for other purpose. Okay, there is an example. If we are having a salvage value for RCC works, at that time, so we can for dismantling or for dismantling the structures, we require labors, we require various equipments. Also, at that time, the cost of the structures, the cost will be increased. So there is we cannot amount will not be saved. Okay? So at that time we have to save the structures. The best example, the best is nothing but the machines. So salvage value of machine is positive because its parts may be used for some other purpose, or that machine will be used for some other purpose. Again, next is nothing but the book value. Book value is the amount shown in the account book. That is after allowing the necessary depreciations, as we will see in next slide. What is depreciations? After all depreciations, after all reductions due to wear and tear, what is the amount which has been kept, which has been noted, or which has been taken care in the amount book? Okay? So book value is the amount shown in the account book after allowing necessary depreciations. After taking care of necessary depreciation, what is the cost or the value which has been incurred or which has been written in the book in a book? Okay. So the book value of a property at a particular year is the original cost minus the amount of depreciation. Because in every year there will be some depreciations. Every year there will be some deductions in the amount. So after every minus depreciation, every amount, we will find out, or we can have the amount. We can write the amount in a book, or we can find out the value of a property. So here book value, the formula for it is nothing but the original cost minus the depreciation up to previous years. So what is the depreciation up to previous year? It is to be calculated. The original cost minus depreciation up to previous year. Okay? The book value depends on the amount of depreciation allowed per years and will be gradually reduced year to year. Okay? There will be decrease in the amount, decrease in the value of the property, because in every year there will be depreciations and the depreciation cost will be increased every years. And after some years, that value of the property will be equal to the scrap value. After that, after the year it has been completed, suppose 20 years is the life of the building. So after 20 years, the amount will be equal to the scrap value. It will be same as the scrap value. Rateable values. Rateable value is the net annual letting value of the property, which is obtained after deducting the amount of yearly repairs from the gross income. After deducting the yearly repair works, the rateable value it will be calculated. Or municipals and other taxes are charged at certain percentage on the rateable values of the property. So at certain charges or certain taxes will be laid down on this rateable values. Again, most important terms is nothing but again related with the valuation is nothing but the obsolescence. Okay? So the value of a property or a structures becomes less when it becomes out of date in style, in design, in structures. As I've already said, the value of the property will be decreased due to its obsolescence. Obsolescence is the word related with the outdated. If the structures is outdated in style, in design, in structures, if suppose the best example is the load bearing structures nowadays. All the load bearing structures, it has been outdated, so therefore the cost, the value of the property will be decreased, because it has been in olden days there will be the construction was made with the load bearing structures. But nowadays, all the structures that has been made in RCC, that is the cement that has been made with the columns or beam or slabs, that is the frame structures that has been constructed. So at that, due to this outdated structures, the value of the property will be decreased. Such conditions or the such value is nothing but the obsolescence. So it may be due to progress in planning ideas, new innovations, improvements in design techniques. So nowadays there may be design techniques. There are more design techniques. It has been used. More innovations has been made. More planning, advanced equipments or advanced techniques. It has been used related with the constructions, related with the various equipments used in the constructions. So all these, by considering all these, the value of the property will be decreased. Okay. Hence, even though a building is physically sound, it may be becoming functionally inadequate, and its economical returns becomes less because the functioning it is less. In olden days, we have seen the size of the rooms were very less, but the wall size or the strength of the building were more. But depending upon the utility of the buildings, the utility of the building was here less. Okay, the space required for living space required for the various rooms, it has been less, but the structure was it has been structurally strong. But even though due to its functioning or due to its usage, it has been outdated. Okay. So at that time, the value of the property will be decreased. Main important is nothing but the annuity. The annuity is nothing but the annual payment for the repayment of the capital amount invested. So annuity word relates with the annual payments. So it is nothing but the annual payment for the repayment of the capital amount. Okay. So we are repaying the capital amount in the form of some annual annual payments. Okay. So some annual payment it has been kept aside in order to fulfill the capital amount, in order to accumulate the capital amount. Okay. Such is nothing but the annuity. These annual payments are made at the beginning or at the end of a year, usually for a specific numbers of years. Okay. Annuity is certain. It is the amount of annuity is paid for a definite numbers of years. The lesser the number of years, higher the annuity, and vice versa. If the numbers of years will be less, the annuity will be more. The amount which has been kept aside as a capital income will be more. If the years is more, the annuity will be less. Okay, it is vice versa. It is inversely proportional. Okay, annuity due is nothing but the if the amount of annuity is paid at the beginning of each period or year, and payments are continued for definite numbers of period. And deferred annuity is also there. If the payment of the amount of annuity begins at the future date after a number of years, if we are starting after some years after in future we are starting, so it is the deferred annuity. Perpetual annuity is also there if the amount of the annuity continues for a indefinite period. Okay, if it is continued for years, which has been not indefinite period of years, at that time that annuity is considered as the perpetual annuity. Again, important is nothing but the capital cost. So capital cost is nothing but for buildings. It is the total cost of the building, including purchase of land, including what is capital cost. So capital cost, including the land, what is the cost of constructions? Okay. So cost of construction, including land, we will consider as the capital cost. Okay. So it is the total cost of construction, including purchase of land. For properties, it is the original total amount required to possess a property. So it is the original total amount required to possess a property. What is the original amount required for a property is nothing but the in case of the properties. So it is the original cost and does not change with time. It does not change with time because the actual cost required for its construction. So it will not be changing with time because at the time at which we have constructed the buildings. Suppose that we have constructed the building at 10 years before. So at 10 years before, the cost will be the cost we have incurred for the construction building, it has been fixed. Okay? So it will not be changed. Okay? The capital cost will be the fixed one. It is nothing but the original cost. Okay? So it is the original cost and does not change with time. Whereas value of property is the present cost, which may be calculated by the method of valuations. Valuation will be dependent on the present scenario, present situation. But capital cost will be the original cost. Valuation will be changing. It will be changing depending upon the various factors, but capital cost will not be changed. Capital cost will, that is the amount required for the construction, will be fixed. Next important is the capitalized value. So it is the amount of money whose annual interest at the highest prevailing rate of interest will be equal to the net income from the property. Okay. So if we are keeping an amount in terms of interest with the highest prevailing rate of interest. So what is that amount? With the highest prevailing rate of interest, that amount is equals to the net income. Okay. Such amount which is equals to the net income we will consider as the capitalized value. Determine the capitalized value of a property building, it is necessary to know the net income from the property and the highest prevailing rate of interest. So net income is also important because we are accumulating, or we are having same as the net income. So we have to know the net income and what should be the highest prevailing rate of interest, so that that amount it should be equal to the net income. Okay? So first we should know the net income, and then we should fix the highest prevailing rate of interest. Then we have to fix the highest prevailing rate of interest. So here it is a simple problem. It has been taken care, in which we will find out the capitalized value. So here I'm reading the problem. Calculate the capitalized value of a property fetching a net annual rent of 1,000, and the highest rate of interest prevalent is it has been as 5%. So with 5% of interest, and with 1,000 as the annual rent, we have to fix, or we have to find out the capitalized value. What should be the capitalized value of 5% interest, and for the 1,000 as the annual rent. So first is nothing but the net annual rent. The net annual rent, it has been taken as 1,000. Rate of interest we have taken as 5%. In order to get an annual interest equal to the net annual rent, that is equals to 1,000. So we will have the multiplications. Suppose we are considering this as x, 5% of x, that is equals to the 1,000. So it is just the cross multiplication is there. The x is equals to 1,000 divided by, that is cross multiplication. So x, the capital is value, that x term, it is being calculated as 20,000. So capital value is equals to net income, net annual income minus, that is multiplied by the years purchase. That is multiplied by the years purchase. That is multiplied by the years purchase. Multiplied by the years purchase. So net annual income multiplied by the years purchase. The next important is what is years purchase. So years purchase is calculated as the capital sum required to be invested in order to receive an annuity of rupees 1 at a certain rate of interest. So we are receiving only 1 rupees. Okay? We are receiving rupees 1 at certain rate of interest, from the capital sum. Okay? Year's purchase is calculated as the capital sum required to be invested in order to receive an annuity of rupees 1 at certain rate of interest. Okay? We are receiving only 1 rupees, but at a certain rate of interest from the capital sum. Okay? So it is nothing but the year's purchase. For 4%, for 4% interest per annum, to get rupees 4, it requires, that is rupees 100 to be deposited in bank, so that we can, at a 4% of interest, we can receive rupees 4. We can receive rupees 4. Hence, to get rupees 1, it will be required to deposit one fourth of this is nothing but the 25 rupees. So if we will deposit 25 rupees, we will, at an interest, we will get a rupees of one rupees in returns. Okay. So what is the formula for this? It is year's purchase is equals to 100 divided by rate of interest, or in short, it is 1 by I. I is nothing but the interest. It is in percentage. So we have, by dividing this 100, it has been taken in numerator. What is the revised formula for this year's purchase? So 100 divided by rate of interest. Then what is sinking fund? Already we have discussed in previous slide. What is sinking fund? It is the amount which has been kept aside that can be used after the life of the credit has been completed for reconstructions, for replacement or reconstruction. So what is the formula for sinking fund? So here annual sinking fund, it is having the formula as annual installment required for the sinking fund, that is capital I is equals to capital S suffix small I, that is divided by 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So this installment, this I stands for the annual installment required. What is the formula for this? Capital I. So capital I stands for the annual installments required. That is equals to S into I. So here S stands for the total amount of sinking fund to be accumulated, whereas I stands for the rate of interest. That is 5%. That is example. 5 divided by 100. That comes to be 0.05. It is just the example. So S stands for the total amount of sinking fund. I stands for the interest, whereas 1 plus I raised to n. N stands for the number of years. Okay. So how much number of years it has been taken care. The number of years required to accumulate. So number of years required to accumulate. So n is nothing but the number of years. So here it has been a simple example for the sinking fund. How to find out the sinking fund? Pumping set with a motor has been installed in a building at a cost of rupees 22,500. Uh, Assuming the life of the pump as 15 years, what is the life of the pump as 15 years? And find the annual installment of the sinking fund required to be deposited to accumulate the whole amount of 4% compound interest. Okay, so what will be the amount kept aside so that after the life period of this pump is 15 years? This 15 years we can get the total amount as same. Okay, what is that amount which has been kept aside at an interest of 4% for 15 years? What is that amount which has been kept aside? So how to find out the sinking fund? I is equals to again the same formula S into I, that is divided by 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So here amount for this sinking fund amount is nothing but installment. It is 2,500. So here S is 2,500. It is when multiplied with I. I here in percentage of interest is nothing but 4%. 4 divided by 100 is 0.04. It has been divided with 1 plus I is again 0.04. Number of years in this case is 15 years minus 1. So the amount it comes to be installment, annual installment, sinking fund installment annually we have to kept aside is nothing but only 125 rupees. Okay. So annually we have to keep 125 rupees for 15 years at a rate of 4%, so that it is same as the total amount. Next important is again depreciations. So what is depreciation? As I've already said, there will be wear and tear in the structures. There may be wear and tear in the structures. So that amount it has been what amount to be deducted from the total amount. So what is depreciations? It is the loss in the value of the building or property due to structural deteriorations, wear and tear, or decay in the obsolescence. Due to obsolescence, also there, or due to wear and tear, or due to decay in the structures, due to decay in the structures, as the lifespan of the structures it has been increased, there will be decay in the structures. Such cost, such value of the property after the lifespan it has been is going on. So there is wear and tear in the structures. Okay. Such wear and tear is nothing but the obsolete depreciations. Okay. Such wear and tear it has been considered as the depreciations. It again it depends upon the age of the building. It depends upon the nature of the maintenance. It depends upon the type of structures. What is the age of the building, or the nature of the structures, or the type of the structures. So it will be dependent on these concepts. So a certain percentage or per annum of the total cost may be allowed as a depreciations in order to determine its present value. The percentage rate of depreciation is less at the beginning and increases with age. As the age is going on, the amount will be increased, the percentage will be increased. It will be dependent on the age. The age of the structures, it will be dependent on the age of the structures. As the age of the structure will be increased, the depreciation cost will be increased. How to find out the how to calculate the depreciation cost, or how to find out the depreciations? The amount of depreciation being known, the present value of the property can be calculated after deducting the total amount of depreciation from the original cost. So what are the different methods in which we can find out the depreciations? The first method is nothing but the straight line method. There is constant percentage method, sinking fund methods, and the quantity survey methods. So these are the four important methods with the help of which we can find out the depreciations in the structures. Okay. So wear and tear in the structures or depreciations caused or the value of the building will be decreased. So these are the four important methods with the help of which we can find out the cost or the value of the structures. So straight line methods, constant percentage methods, sinking fund method, and the quantity survey methods. So in short, we will see all these four methods. Number one is the straight line method. So it is assumed that the property loses its value by the same amount every year. So it will be the property will lose the value of the value of the property will be lose every years there will be reduction in the amount. So how it will be fixed? A fixed amount is deducted every year so that at the end of the utility period only the scrap value will remain. Okay. So after the utility of the building it has been completed, the amount which has been will be the only the scrap value. The annual depreciation it has been denoted by capital D, that is equals to the original value minus scrap value divided by the life in years. The original value, that is the value of the structures when we have constructed, minus the scrap value. We are already we have seen how much is the percentage for scrap value. It is normally taken as 10%. The original value minus scrap value divided by the life in years. So in short, it has been C minus S divided by N. So book value after n years. How to find out book value after n years? So original cost, that is minus, that is number of years into this depreciations. Again, constant percentage methods. So how to find out the constant percentage method? So constant percentage method. Again, the a percentage it has been fixed, constant percentage or constant percentage it has been fixed. It is also called as the declining balance method. Constant percentage method is also called as the declining balance method. So here it is assumed that the property will lose its value by a constant percentage of its value at the beginning of every year. Okay, so at a constant percentage, it will lose the value of the property. So how to find out by constant percentage method? So annual depreciation, that is capital D, is equals to 1 minus. So it will be 1 minus. Here the formula is 1 minus. So it will be 1 minus scrap value divided by original value raised to 1 divided by n. So it is 1 minus S stands for the scrap value, whereas original value we are considering as the C, and 1 by n, here we are considering a number of years. Formula is 1 minus scrap value divided by original value bracket close raised to 1 by n. Value of the property of depreciation, the value of the property of depreciation cost is nothing but C minus DC. Okay. C minus DC, that is the cost of C is nothing but the original cost minus depreciation cost into original cost. Depreciation cost into original cost. Next is the sinking fund methods. Here sinking fund is again repeated, used for the depreciation also. The same method it has been used. Here there is an example for this. Yeah, depreciations for first year, depreciation for the year A, total depreciation is A, book value is C minus A, that is the total cost minus depreciation. Yes. Again, depreciation for next year is previous year plus B. Again, 2A, that is, we have added this 2 plus B. And in same way, total value, total cost minus 2A plus B. It is just the procedure in order to find out the sinking fund. Okay? How to find out the sinking fund? So, while solving the problems, we can also, by solving the problem, the concepts will be more clear when we will solve the problems related with the sinking fund. Again, important is the quantity survey methods. The property is studied in details and loss in value worked out. Each step is based on some logical reasonings. Okay? So without any fixed percentage of the cost of the property, so by logical way, by logical reasonings, by some calculations, some surveys, we can find out the cost of the building. By some survey works, we can find out the cost of the building. So such again, there may be some depreciations. Calculations may be done depending upon the survey of the buildings, okay, depending upon the quantity survey. So again, this method is used for the depreciations. Again, valuation. The value of the building is determined by working out its cost of the constructions at the present day rate and allowing suitable depreciations. After deducting from the depreciations, we can find out the value of the properties. Before valuations, age of the building should be determined. Visual inspection of its present condition will be taken care, and future lifespan it should be determined. So these three conditions, it is very important regarding the valuations before calculating or finding out the value of the building. So we have to keep in mind these three conditions: what is the age of the building, what is the visual inspection of its present conditions, and what is the future life of the building. Present day cost. So here we can have the cost from the records, that is from the estimation, from the bills of the quantities, from the records we can find out the present day cost. What is the cost of the building at present? So at present, we can find out by estimations by bill of the various quantities which has been required for the constructions. Also from the various records or also from the PWD schedule of rates, we can calculate the cost of the present day cost of the building. Okay? So from we can find out the present day cost from this. Again, there may be we can find out by this. Okay? So again, by the plinth area methods, already we have discussed in previous lectures what is plinth area methods or the different methods used for the find out the cost of the building. So in this way, we have covered in today's lecture the more concepts regarding the valuations. We have seen the various methods related with the valuations. We have seen the different methods related with the valuations. In short, we have already find out the things related with the valuations, factors affecting the valuations. So today we will end this lectures related with the valuations. Again, and we will have some more concepts related with the valuations or rate analysis in next lectures. Today we will end this lecture. Okay. So if there is any queries related with the valuations, you can ask if any difficulties is related with the valuations. So we can solve the difficulties related with the valuations. So here we will end the topic today's topic related with the valuations. So thank you everyone. Thank you.